I love technology. Good morning. I'm Gina Terusio,
I'm Alicia.
and we're with the Partnership for Economic Prosperity. As you know, we bring you this awesome thing called LATAW 411. And it's been a pleasure so far for 3 different episodes to bring you what is awesome about Latah County, Idaho. Today, we have I'm excited. My friend Karen Rohn, and she has a great store called Blackbird at the Station. Is that correct, Karen? Am I getting that right?
No, it's actually Blackbird at the depot.
Oh, God. Okay, see, that tells you I have no train background at all. Like choo-choo, chug a locomotive moment. Blackbird at the depot. And it's in Potlatch, Idaho. And I'm telling you, that is a town worth going to. So, Miss Karen, tell me about yourself a little bit.
All right. Well, I'm Karen Rohn. I was born in the area. I went to school here. I graduated from Potlatch High School. And then, as all good high school students do, I got out of Potlatch because who would want to stay in a town with no stoplights? But, but then I came back. Sorry. I came back because I realized that I love this community. I love the small area. I love the Palouse. I love the woods, the agricultural. And I live on a farm that my great grandparents established back at the turn of the century. So my heart is here. And I went to school at the University of Idaho, graduated from there, and then have been here ever since.
Go Vandals.
Yeah. And so I own Blackbird at the depot, which I'm going to give you a little credit here, Gina. It initially was Blackbird Station when we first opened in 2010. And then it's morphed into Blackbird at the depot. So it's my business. I'm here because I live here. I love to make art. I have public art in various towns around, and I like to gather local art. But anyway, so I own this. I'm also the president of the Potlatch Historical Society. I'm also the current president of the WINMRY HPG, which is the nonprofit group that owns this building. And I'm the director of the Return to Riverside Music Festival.
Wow.
So
you're saying essentially you have no sleep at all.
I'm sorry. I am a card carrying vampire.
Oh, well, see, that explains everything. So I got to tell you, as much as it's awesome to see your face on here, there's an awesome pillow behind your head. Tell us about this before we go any further. How cool. Yeah.
Yeah, that's, so if you live in the country, or maybe even if you live in town, if you live in a rural area, even the city, if you live, you probably know of coyotes. And I love coyotes. They kind of remind me of myself. I kind of like to hang out alone, do my own little wild cry out by myself, like a coyote. Oh, that's quote worthy. Anyway, and the term ruralite, it's just a great term because really it means somebody who lives in a rural situation, which we all do. I mean, Moscow's not a city. Lewiston's in a real city. We're all ruralites, but I consider myself a true ruralite. I've always lived in the country, and so I am a ruralite. So anyway, I love to do a lot of black and white images. I love to do, I do pillows. Anyway, so I just kind of added the words. I love to do lettering on things. So that's my ruralite. That's my symbol. That's my guy right there. I got him in t-shirts too. So
I plan on a t-shirt. My second one of yours. I have a Return to Riverside shirt that I wear, and people think I am so cool. So tell me how'd you get Blackbird going?
So one of my things that I love to do, I've always loved to, back when I was a kid, I used to be on the back porch of our house in the middle of winter with the seed catalog, pretending like I had a store on our back porch by myself, making little lists. Okay, not that I'm that organized, but anyway, I just thought it was always a kick. as I grew older, I actually went into actual shops and really noted the ones that I thought were well curated. One of the local ones that I used to adore was the Old Mole, and then even after that, then was Wild Women Traders with Julie Kerr. And I loved her shop and got to know Julie, and actually had my first art walk show there, which was terrifying for me because I mostly just did art, you know, and just avoided the whole, you know, public thing because I was a total introvert. But anyway, and she closed her business. We opened up Blackbird Station here at the depot when they were just starting to work on it. We came and worked on the depot and actually put in some sweat equity when it was still a viable thing to do, and worked a good 6 months on our space, finishing and, oh my gosh, putting in heat, all that kind of stuff. And we went with Blackbird Station, I think, for about half a year, and then we got froze out due to lack of insulation in the walls. And so, minor thing. But you know, it's a cool old building. One building that I've never, ever paid attention to when I was growing up, believe it or not, but I've always been into old things. And I'm not so much of a fact person or a history person, but I'm a cool old thing person, if that's a term.
It is. It is. I have to say, your statement earlier about putting in sweat equity is so something that I associate with you. Just in the what, 2 or 3 years of conversation with you, you have this way of it's an orbit, or it's a attraction where you pull people together that do that. Riverside's kind of that same way. You get a group of people that are interested in the idea, and then, you know, you all work towards this goal. It is so cool. You have such a nice, easy way of sucking people into giving volunteer time. It's awesome. I mean, I was full out ready to help with Riverside this year, and had we not been COVIDed, now which shoes I'm going to wear. So, you know, but I like that, and I like your commitment to your community. It's something I wish we could inoculate people with.
Well, thank you.
Yeah. Alicia, do you have a question for our Karen?
Yeah. So what was besides heat, what was your biggest hurdle of starting your business?
You know, the same old song and dance, just not. Okay, so I never started business because I sat down and said, oh, this will be lucrative, or this is, you know, I can make money doing this. I never have been, nor will I ever be, about money, which is a good thing, but it's also a bad thing. Right. For me, it's just the thrill of having this thought in my mind and then moving forward with it. And I think the biggest hurdle was not, because I still wrestle with it. I still wrestle with, you know, those things that I think would be so cool to do, or so mind-opening or eye-opening, that I was hesitant to do them because I knew a lot of people would be like, what? But when I do them, people are like, oh, I get it, or oh my gosh, I've never seen that before, which always baffles me because I'm like, I'm copying somebody else. But so I guess having the chutzpah to just be like, hey, and just keep mowing ahead, you know, pushing through that tall grass and doing whatever it is that I think is the next best, coolest thing.
Yeah.
So Karen, how do you find those things? Do you wander through the tall grass? What is it that gets you that, aha, I could do this?
You know, I'm really into, I read a lot of, I don't read a lot of anything. I look at a lot of pictures. I look at a lot of magazines. I'm sorry, I do read. I can read. I'm at a college level now. But anyway, you know, I love to see other people's ideas. And that's one of the reasons I used to go to Seattle a lot, go to Ballard, you know, I used to go places. One of the things that I like about going other places is I always like to see if I can find the coolest shop in town and see what they're doing, see what they think, you know, what they're doing, whether it be products they have or displays. Instagram has been really great, and also not really great, but the really great part about it is I find a lot of creative people out there that just inspire me. So I'm always saving things. And so it's just, mostly it's, I see something and it just somehow just stays in the back of my head. And sometimes it stays there for decades, I will admit that, but then it comes out, you know. But really, that's really what, you know, I just am always looking towards other creatives, and, you know, and I do get stuff on my own, you know, I'll just be plugging away to projects and I'll go, oh my gosh, look at that. Or I'll see something and think, if I just did this turn on it and then added this and took away that, that would be the coolest thing ever. So.
Yeah. Today is the day to wonder whether or not you can read or that you have the skills you were born with. It's just that kind of day. Just gonna throw so when you get to this point, when you have this aha moment and you see people are getting it, you know, you talked a little bit about Instagram being a love-hate thing, and I feel the same way about Facebook and that whole thing. What's your best marketing? I mean, you're in a relatively small town, in a relatively small county, in a relatively unpopulated state. How do you get the word out?
You know, I have a couple people that every once in a while, I call them my cheerleaders. They come in and say, you know, you need to do more advertising, or you need to do, and I'm like, yeah. And I think that's like the artist in me going, I'm just creating. I don't do that whole marketing thing. Social media is a really good way for me to reach out to people, both Facebook and Instagram. And I mean, I have, you know, I have my personal account. I have Blackbird has an account. I have an account for the depot, and Return to Riverside. But so I try to do social media, but you know, I'm in this historic depot. And so I've got people who are stopping in because they're just driving through town on their way to whatever destination. They see this cool building and then they walk in and they're like, holy smokes. And usually that's when the husband goes, I'll be back here. And the wife's like, yeah, take your time. So, yeah. So, I mean, you know, I'm not a guru at marketing, and I know I could do a lot better job at marketing, but that would just take up too much of my time. Seriously, I'm only on this earth for so long, and I really want to do the stuff that I really like.
I completely understand your statement. That is so often when, or at least in my little bit of experience in the decades I've been on the planet, there's the passionate entrepreneur doing exactly what they want to do and nothing else, or little of anything else, kind of like you're saying, you're describing. And then there's also the mile wide, inch deep, doing everything not that effectively. And I would much, much rather be that passionate one, kind of sort of blowing out, you know, marketing. Okay, fine. You know, to me, that's a life well lived. So
well, eventually you can have somebody else do your marketing for you. So that's something that another service is easily done, but your art, not everybody can do that. So yeah, that's something to focus on.
Yeah, and I do, and you know, and I'm yeah, I could have other people do my marketing for me, and I should really, I should have a lot of handlers actually to guide to keep me on track, because I'm easily, you know, kind of, you know, I just sorry, I just, my attention span sometimes is a little, and I admit that.
Good friends, my friend, and why Alicia is in my life, because her second title that's written in really little print that she didn't see when she signed on is Gina's handler. Something shiny wanders by, and I'm, you know, so we're kind of in the last 7-8 minutes of our time. Tell me, you know, say you're a young entrepreneur and you want to open up a cool consignment art awesome store like Blackbird. What would you tell this person? What would you tell me as a young, I got this cool idea?
So do it. Don't, you know, one thing I've had people will try to put roadblocks in your way. and they're well-meaning roadblocks, you know, and they'll be like, oh, you don't want to be in that space because it's, you know, doesn't have a roof on it. You don't want to be in that part of town because nobody ever drives on that road, or, you know, whatever. You just, because this is your show. And the reason those people are saying that is because they're not the people that do this kind of thing. And they never will have a show like yours because they're not you. And so I would say, just do it. And then also the second thing that's really important, because this is where a lot of people, they get the just do it part, but what they don't get is the part where they need to keep expanding on their ideas, and they need to keep moving. I am constantly, I will tell you that my husband is so grateful for my shop, not really, but he is, in the reasoning being, I no longer rearrange our house like every other week. How many times, you know, wasn't the couch over there last night? I fell over it. Anyway, the reason, I mean, seriously, I move my shop around all the time because I want, not only do I want my inventory to be fresh with me, but I want it to be fresh with my customers. I want people to walk in and always see something different. So I'm always, actually, I'm changing out my inventory a lot. That's why I do consigners, local consigners, and I don't just do anybody. I'm kind of fussy. And I keep it moving. I keep it moving. You know, if you ever find yourself just sitting in your shop, looking out the window, you should be publicly flogged, seriously, because you need to keep it fresh all the time. You know, you're there, you're, even if you're running, I don't care what your business is, you're there presenting this idea, and no matter how mundane it may be, it's your responsibility to put it on display and to keep it interesting for everybody who sees it, regardless of what it is. So those are the two biggest points. Just do it, and then don't be sitting around gathering dust.
That is you in a nutshell, girl. That is 100% you. So tell me about, tell me the address of your fabulous shop so that our listeners can come see it.
Sure, it's 185 6th Street in Potlatch, and if you're driving on the main drag Potlatch, going through town, you'll go around the corner, and you'll see our depot, the WINM, Washington and Idaho, Montana Railway Depot, setting with its fresh, new, beautiful parking lot.
Yes.
Right there on the parking, or excuse me, right there on the corner. And yeah, that's where I'm at. And come on in. The sign will be open. I'm open Thursday, Friday, Saturday, 10 to 4.
It is quite possibly a place that I could spend easily 2 hours without realizing it.
Yeah, well, good. Yeah.
Honestly, and probably more money than I want to admit, but at the same time, the time flies in there. If it's not talking to you, it's just looking at all of the ideas, the you know, it's a great place. It really is. And as I coming into Potlatch, right as I get to about that gas station there, I see the depot and I'm ready. Sometimes I speed up.
Well, I will tell you that that if a customer leaves feeling inspired, I feel like I've done my job. Mm-hmm. Really, that's all I ask. But if you do leave with things that you've, you know, bought, that's awesome too, because it's local. You know, it's not just me. It's other local artists, and you can't help but absorb history when you're in here. So actually, it's a learning experience as well. So
that is part of the cool piece of Blackbird, is that you are so dedicated and so knowledgeable about the town that you're in, that not only do you get a cool shop, you get the cool depot, but the story comes as well. And it's just an experience. And I think Alicia and I need a field trip. Now that I'm thinking about it, we need to make a field trip out there again and just enjoy soaking it all in. I'm in.
Yeah, that'd be great. That'd be great.
Do you have a website or social media that you want to tell us about?
So on Instagram, I have Blackbird at the depot. I also have Karen Rohn, which I sometimes forget that I have, you know, 2 different accounts. So a lot of times just, I actually have 3 because I have returned to Riverside as well. I do have KarenRohn.com, and I put some of my stuff on there, but because I just don't have much time, you know, it's just kind of a bookmark in the virtual world that I'm here. And I try to change it every once in a while, so there's a little bit of interest there. But also on Facebook as well. You know, I have a personal account, which really isn't that personal because to me, you know, it's my life, it's my stuff. But I do also have a Blackbird page.
So I want to tell you, thank you for your time today. Thank you for that glimpse into your cool world. I enjoy that a lot. I want to invite you back when we get out of COVID-19 because I want to talk Riverside.
Yeah.
Riverside. It is such a cool event, and I want to help market that when the time comes. Not that
That'd be
we
awesome.
market already. That's not my message.
I know what you meant. Hey, can you market too much, really?
No.
Okay.
My book, but anyway. All right. So thank you again. Again, everybody watching, this is Latah 411. We have just spent 29 minutes with one of Latah County's true gems, Karen Rohn, and her life and her store, Blackbird at the Depot. Once again, I'm Gina.
I'm Alicia.
That fabulous woman is Alicia, whichever direction it is. Have a good day. Karen, thank you.
You bet. See you guys later.
Later.